say good morning. And then I realized
It's morning.
it's morning for us, but maybe not for anyone else listening.
That's true.
Okay, well, welcome to Bloom in Full Color. So we are living life in high definition / ultraviolet, whatever feels right for you today. Liz and I are hanging out. My name is Jennifer Moss. I probably should start with that regularly.
Probably, yeah.
But you know, we're figuring out structure still.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about this morning is I brought a bunch of food.
I've been looking at this brownie the whole time Zach's been setting up, and I'm like, are we ready yet?
Are you ready yet?
Can we eat now?
So I'm texting, Liz is bringing coffee, and I'm going, I hope
am.
you're hungry, because we're going to eat some stuff.
Yeah, super hungry.
So what happens when you harvest all of your produce from the garden, and some of it starts to look a little subpar? You usually throw it away, don't you?
So remember, though, I grew up with a 1/4 acre garden.
Oh, so you get this.
So I get harvest time.
Okay.
Like wheelbarrows full of squash.
Dear God.
Zucchini's bigger than my babies.
Isn't it funny? You blink your eye, and then zucchini's the size of a prosthetic limb.
It's a leg.
Yeah, it's a whole leg.
Like it's a thigh.
Yeah, and then you go to make zucchini brownies, and you're like, this did not use enough.
No.
A
And so
zucchini.
then what I would do, and what we did do, my grandparents have a canning kitchen.
Okay.
So wheelbarrows full of squash. We'd spend a whole weekend cutting and freezing and processing because you waste not. When your grandparents grew up in the Depression,
you
waste
everything.
not.
Okay, so this is new age using your produce.
You throw it away.
Okay, well that's the Gen Z effect. No, I'm kidding. I'm picking on generations today. So I'm technically, since I'm an 85 baby, I'm like a cusper. So I'm a Gen X and millennial.
I throw it away.
You throw it away.
I got so tired. I was talking.
You also were raised by Depression grandparents.
Yes.
That's a big thing.
And so speaking of that, it's funny because I'm born in 85 too. I think we're really close.
Yes,
and
we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. We were
Production moment. The mic starts moving as we talk.
I was being bougie today for my friends who are listening because I'm a bougie princess, and I was getting my lashes done. And my wonderful lash lady, she's like, "Are you going to the fair?" And I'm like, "No."
I actually don't fare either.
My grandma was
Active verb.
my
Don't
grandma
do it.
was a master food preserver. So she was the superintendent of the canned and preserved foods.
I was in 4-H. I showed bunnies.
I hate fair time.
You know, I grew up in Jerome, so you could get into the fair for free.
Yeah.
And I'm all for supporting local, but I don't want to pay $9 to get in to then go buy food because that's the only reason I'm going. Is that fair?
I avoid it like the plague.
Is that fair about the fair? No, so we're
speaking of vegetables, I'm on that cuff too. I'm like,
Yeah,
throw
you're
it
right
away.
there.
I don't want to deal with the freezing and the preserving and the.
So I'll can some stuff, but and we're gonna talk about baking with produce. So that's what I've been starting to do is just to kind of muck it into food. It's like the bananas that go bad on the counter, right? Or go brown. Yeah, famously. Hey, so my family strategically behind my back just quit eating them. So I have a regular grocery list. I always order them. And then I'm like, why is nobody eating bananas? And they all just get this downtrodden, keeping their eyes away from me look. And are you guys strategically not eating bananas? So I have to make banana bread? And they're like, yes, we all talked about it. We're doing it. I'm like, with what time? I don't have time. So yeah, my family's ganging up on me.
So I can just see it now. When your girls are old enough to have a cell phone.
They have a cell phone.
Okay, well, there's going to be a group text between them and your husband, and they're going to strategically plan these things.
They're going to gang up on me.
Let's stop eating the bananas for a month. Maybe she'll make us a whole loaf and put them in the freezer.
Yes, it's true. Well, and then there's are we going to make banana bread that my husband's business partner will eat, or are we going to make kinds he won't? Because if I put nuts in it, he won't eat it. This has nothing to do with anyone in my household. Those are the only people I'm responsible for. I do not care about my husband's business partner's preferences.
Yeah.
I didn't marry that guy. I don't have to worry about him. If he doesn't like pecans, tell him where to stick it. I don't care. It just makes me a little bit blunt.
Yeah.
I think we had one of our reps here yesterday, sitting at this very same table, and my mother explained that my nickname is Hard Ass the whole time. I was like, okay, that's legit. Am I really called that? And she's like, you've turned into it. Like, oh, okay.
Well,
so it's interesting.
All right. Are we allowed to make the announcement now?
No, not yet.
Dang it.
Yeah, we're close. We're close. One of these days. So by the October
we'll get
ones.
there. We'll get
the
there.
October ones. We do have fun announcements.
We're just keeping everybody on their
Let's
on
put
their
it
cuffs.
this way. Where's Jennifer at mentally? I'm coming off of the round of terror of absorbing the news that you're not going to hear about on today or the next podcast.
Maybe the next 4.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. There's a little drop.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the fun thing we're going to do today. I'm hungry.
I
want to eat.
I'm hungry.
Everybody who's walked in the kitchen. Now, mind you, our office for our sales team is in my great-grandparents' old house.
Which we are going to go into that later.
We are,
Yeah.
actually. We have an interview. So a little drop that we are going to put out there, guys. We're going to do a multi-generational family history. I mean, this is not going to be a 20, 25-minute podcast.
No.
There's no way on God's green earth that that's going to occur.
No.
But we're going to start with Generation 2, which is DeWitt Moss and Carolyn Adams Moss. And they are still alive and well. So we're going to start with them. And then we'll go to my parents, Generation 3, Kevin and Dana Moss. And then Dewey and I will round up the end. And maybe we'll do the announcement in conjunction with that. That might actually make the most sense.
Stay tuned.
Let's put it this way. Generation 4 is fully taking over, and we're handling it.
You're handling it very well.
We're trying.
Yes.
I mean, believe me, there's missteps. But my biggest thing is, and we talked about this in some of the past episodes we did, just learn from your mistakes.
Yes.
And be a human.
Yes.
Good book, Radical Candor. For anybody who is a manager who is trying to find that balance between accountability and being a compassionate human being, that's a really good book. Radical Candor. Also, anything by Brene Brown, who talks about vulnerability and really like setting your team up for success. When she goes into leadership, the way she talks about it is fire. So,
okay, perfect.
Let's eat.
Zach, are you hungry?
We're hungry.
Oh, Zach's hungry.
Okay, so what did I make today? All right,
What did you make? Please tell.
Let's talk about this for a second.
Yes.
So the reason I like baking with produce, I think of any produce as anything that can go bad in your fridge to a certain degree.
Okay.
I mean, relatively well. Like, it's a perishable product, right? Now, I don't really count meat into that, even though it is a perishable product. But we're going to talk about produce, things that come from plants. So really, it adds health. Obviously, you're eating something natural.
Yes.
It's got fiber. It's, if it's a fruit, yes, it has sugar, but there's a lot of different things you can do. And sometimes people get hung up on, I have all this stuff and I don't know what to do with it. Or, oh my gosh, well, you know what? Pinterest and the internet is there for you.
It is. And this podcast is there for you.
So I have this terrible habit of buying cookbooks. Do you know that cookbooks are the only kind of book that actually appreciates in value? Not depreciate?
So, well, I shouldn't tell you then. I gave a whole bunch of... Zach's going to the DI lately, by the way. Everybody, Zach moved, so he's telling me about his trips to the DI.
Oh, I heard
Zach
about
at the
his surround
DI,
system.
I gave a big U-Haul box full of cookbooks
That's
away.
okay. I have no more room for cookbooks in my house. I'm not allowed.
Yeah.
I think my husband's like, did you buy another cookbook? Shh.
Do you know they have a
Lane.
Disney cookbook?
They have a Harry Potter cookbook.
Yeah.
They have all sorts of different cookbooks.
Oh, yeah. Those are the ones I'd be okay with.
Oh, man. They have, like, recreating all of the Red Lobster recipes. I mean, anything you can think of, they have. They've already figured it out. Oh, the plant's making noise
Well, I
behind
was
us.
like, what? What's
The
here?
plant was dropping leaves.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, the ficus does not like Red Lobster, so neither do I, really.
All
So
right.
I'm not a chain restaurant person.
I am.
So I actually had friends in town this last
As we're
weekend.
drinking Starbucks.
Yeah, coffee's a little different. Now, mind you, I believe you said you're drinking coffee grounds today.
I am.
So if you see anything in Liz's teeth, disregard.
Zach, please tell me. Are we good? Are we good?
We're
good
gonna
there?
zoom in. Okay, so what I did today, because we're having this in the morning, but I really wanted to show savory and sweet. That was
Okay.
really important to me. And also, it's a good way to diversify what you're doing, kind of like from a menu standpoint. So today, see, can I touch this yet? Almost can touch this. Okay, so I used cast iron because you should do all frittatas in cast iron. And I have created a frittata with shallots and bacon and jalapenos and red bell peppers, carrots, and zucchini.
Wow.
And then the seasoning I did was just salt and umami. And then I did drizzle 2 different olive oils from a local lady. Ooh, as I move a whole bunch of stuff around. So I did a Mushroom Lovers olive oil from Idaho, olive and grape. And then a little bit of sun-dried tomato because I wanted to add a little bit of sweetness without putting tomatoes in it. Because the podcast we're filming right after this, that'll be released 2 weeks after, is Salsa All the Salsas.
So where's Idaho Olive and Grape?
She's actually reopening. It's off Eldridge Avenue. I believe
Okay.
they're having it out of their house. But Kathy Clements does an incredible job. She's a really good chef.
And did she custom make some oils?
I don't know. We should ask her.
We should.
We should maybe bring her on for a cooking segment one of these days.
Yeah, I
because
think that'd be good.
we were actually, as I was prepping all of this stuff, and then I have a little surprise. We're going to try something that I do.
I've been wondering
fresh.
what that was.
That is a huckleberry vinaigrette.
Ooh.
That I serve over salmon with chunks of peaches and avocados.
Do you want another daughter?
I'll just have you over
Or
for
a twin
dinner.
sister?
Something like that.
Something like that?
Something like that.
I need somebody to take care of me.
Right? Well, I can say that I never shy away from having somebody over for a meal. I actually have my
I'll even
husband's-
leave my kids at home.
They can come. They can just be
Even the husband.
They can be feral in the backyard. It'll be fine. I have a trampoline. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have some frittata as I throw some on the patio.
Here, I'm gonna move the mic, and then we're gonna.
It's Friday, folks. For those of you who are not with us,
Here, Zach. I'm gonna slide you a piece.
we're gonna guacamole it too. So,
Oh, do you want some guac, Zach?
We've got guac. We have fresh avocado. And we have salsa. So it depends on what your preference is. Now, one of my favorite toppings for anything egg is fresh avocado. It's just how I am.
Now, is the guac homemade?
No, I did not have enough time to do all of the things. Okay, so do not be afraid to do not homemade guac. It's okay. Now, so this is just Albertsons, their fresh spicy guac that they make in house. So
Albertsons is still fresh though.
Yeah, they really are. Now, say you're down on time and you have to whip out something really fast for people. What I suggest
I'm gonna move these, Zach.
There you go. What I suggest is grab the guac, throw a scoop of salsa in it or something, and boom, it's fresh again.
Oh.
Put a little more cumin in if you want.
Some
whatever.
lime?
Yeah, lime would be fine. You can do too much lime.
Okay. So
In my
I've
opinion.
made homemade salsa, and when we make salsa, I mean, big garden.
Yeah.
You make salsa.
That is a fresh batch from Tuesday. So we're going to try that next.
Don't eat the whole bottle.
Don't eat the whole bottle. Oh. Okay, so in this, you've got all sorts of different kinds of veggies.
Do you want some salsa?
I had to have a protein, so I chose Falls brand bacon because that's the only kind of bacon.
I love Falls brand bacon. And it's not just because they're Falls brand and they're local. Plug to Falls brand. If you're listening, we'd love a sponsor.
John, I'm calling you.
John, we're calling. John is amazing.
John is amazing. And
but-
he does amazing work.
Yes.
He is a part of, I want to do a plug for this because the Twin Falls or the Magic Valley Search and Rescue,
Yes.
oh my gosh, those guys are incredible. And John's a big part of that organization as well. And I mean, they save people's lives all the time. And they volunteer to do it. They don't get paid for that.
John donates a ton of meat for Tough Enough.
Oh, yeah. He does a great job.
And he's amazing.
And the families that own that are just incredible people as well, the Florences. So
Speaking real quick, I know we only have a couple minutes left. They built an employee center. Have you been out there?
Really? No,
It's
I haven't.
air conditioned. They have microwaves. They have these free water and things. Like they built a whole employee center for their employees to go and have breaks in.
That's awesome.
It's got all these like vending machines, and a lot of it's the honor system. And so you just put in your employee number, and
And it'll just kind
Yeah.
of, that's going to pay leaps and bounds. Okay.
As I'm going to
try the
eat.
frittata. It's and if you have never had avocado on eggs or guac, please do it. If you are an avocado person,
I
you're
love
allergic,
avocado.
please don't do it.
I want to try the avocado that you cut it and then you break the egg in it and then cook
The
it.
trick, have them at room temperature. Don't have the avocado cold. It'll throw you off. My brother has done that before. Okay, so this is the frittata. Easy. The difference between a frittata and a quiche has a crust. Frittata usually does not. I'm gluten and dairy. Just we don't jive. So I adapt. So you know what we do as well? If somebody had like a steak for dinner and didn't eat it all, we'll take leftover steak, dice it up with some veggies, have that for breakfast.
Yeah.
My husband will intentionally leave steak and be like, "Will you make a frittata in the morning?" I'm like, yeah, I'll be happy to. So it's easy. And you can theme your frittatas. You could do a Mediterranean, you could do a Greek, you could do a California kitchen. So just think about, what do I have? What do I like? Who's eating it? Do I care if they like it or not? Because I have some picky kids, but you know what?
Yeah.
They've learned to eat around stuff.
And do we have a recipe for this for Zach to?
I would be happy to share this recipe. So, and it's kind of a make your own, it's like a choose your own frittata adventure kind of recipe. So it gives you the base and then you work from there.
Squash?
So,
Squash.
Yes,
zucchini.
there's zucchini in there as well. I just kind of had fun with it. All right. So I will keep talking as you eat.
I'm going to eat.
Yeah, you should. Now you're going to get to try something else. Okay, so it is huckleberry season, which is my very favorite. And so this is actually huckleberry vinaigrette I made 3 days ago. So what I do with this is I will bake salmon, and you'll have to try this. Go ahead and finish what you're doing, and I'll tell you how
my palate.
Yeah, I'll tell you how I do it. Okay, so huckleberries, I get them down at Blue Rock.
Yes.
Yeah, God, it's probably like $5 or $10 for a cup of them. I mean, they're not cheap. Don't get me wrong. But this is one of her dishes. That's how much I got out of it, and I've already had a meal out of this.
Wow.
So it goes a long ways.
Yes.
So what I do is I dice up fresh peaches, fresh avocados, and then I bake or roast or smoke, whatever your preference is, how you like your salmon done. And I usually do the Starlight Herbs that Blue Rock also sells. And I do the Idaho huckleberry seasoning on it and then bake it, usually for me. So 425 for 12 minutes, piece of salmon. 15 minutes if you want it a little more cooked. And then I take fresh cut peaches and avocados, toss them in this, and serve it all over the top of it. There's no words. I've stunned her to silence.
That's really good.
Uh-huh.
Like you could put this over avocado toast in the morning.
In a hot second. There's so many things you can do with
Zach,
this.
do you want to put your finger in the spoon?
We haven't convinced him yet. That's okay. We're going to have...
Just trying to be quiet about it.
We're trying to pick on Zach. It's not working. Yeah. There's also...
Anyways, yeah.
So if anybody's heard of zoodles, another easy way to use up produce too is to get a spiralizer.
Yep.
And there's the big ones that crank, and then there's the little handheld.
My kids love zoodles.
Oh, and I like to get zoodles, and I quick fry them in olive oil and salt, and then I take Parmesan and sliced almonds and put them across it. Now, don't overcook them. They don't have to be soggy and mush.
No.
You can just quick saute. Quick saute. That's how it works. Okay, the last thing we're going to try today is a zucchini brownie with a chocolate peanut butter frosting on top. So this is a Dana Moss recipe that she has taken from Taste of Home, I think. Now, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel all the time. Borrow recipes, turn them into your own. Don't be afraid to try something different. I think that's why people get so stuck in a rut in the kitchen is just like, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, take a risk, buddy. Face your fears. As I hold a knife. Yes, I did that. Okay. Then we're going to just make a mess on the table because we don't care. It's that time of the morning. It's also Friday, right before Labor Day when we're filming this. So everybody needs a break. All right. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, dear.
Yes. Yes, we are trying. Okay, so perfect way to convince your kids that they're having a treat without giving them something super unhealthy. So you can actually see the zucchini, like it's kind of like little guys in.
Yeah.
Shred
Zucchini
it up.
and air friends.
Yeah, zucchini. You can hide in anything. That's the beauty of it. So, does this use a lot of zucchini? Not necessarily. That whole pan is 1 cup of zucchini.
You know what? I always put in 2 just because I'm like, I've got infant-sized zucchinis.
Well, and the trick to zucchini is you have to just get all the moisture out of it that you can. So you shred it, kind of lay it out, and then just keep patting it with paper towels.
Yeah.
And soak all the moisture out of it, because that's what's going to affect your baking. Because think of it this way. All cooking is just chemistry. It's different ingredients coming together to create a different product, right? And so baking is the exact same way. So the things I would hedge against, I always start with a recipe, especially with baking, and do it the correct way the first time. If you're substituting flours or dairies or anything like that, make sure they're an equivalent, because, you know, an almond flour is going to be different than an all-purpose regular flour.
Absolutely.
So if you do like gluten-free like me, I have to do a 1-to-1. It's very, very important. Things that I do in the kitchen regularly. So banana bread, that's an easy one. Zucchini carrot bread, carrot cake. I mean, it is kind of carrot season, or it's towards the tail end. Also scones. I found a strawberry mint scone recipe the other day with sourdough. Oh, I'm in love. I haven't even made them yet, and I'm in love.
That sounds amazing.
Right? We're going to work on it. We're going to figure it out. Peach oatmeal bars. I mean, any cobbler you can think of, like, this is the perfect time to be doing this. Now, there's some science and some health research that actually states that if you eat produce within season, it's a lot more healthy for your body.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and your system's able to kind of like adjust seasonally in a more natural way, because we're really good about buying tomatoes in the middle of February at the store. Guess what? Those did not come from anywhere by you. And also, you need that diversification for your digestive system. So,
yes.
Yeah. Well, so with that, I mean, that's just a little bit of breakfast here at Moss Greenhouses for sure. But
I'm gonna eat.
Yeah, we're gonna scarf this down, but we will link the recipes in the show notes, kind of thing. And I want to give everybody a little bit of homework.
Oh.
So this is my little homework bit, and don't try to go 110% like this person here speaking always does. Just bite off. You don't eat an elephant in one bite. It's one bite at a time, okay? Pick one recipe. Try one new recipe this month. And try it with a produce. I always have an activity. I pick a different thing each year to try and like. I didn't follow through with mine this year. I wanted to do sauerkraut. I just haven't had time. So I'm just trying to get back into the swing of it. But I have learned how to make my own sourdough starter with gluten-free flour, and I found one that works. And so that's actually what I replaced with the sauerkraut was sourdough. So
I want to learn how to make bread. I'm not
fermentation.
A bread fan.
Well, haven't gotten to the bread part. I've just been using the discard. But by that, in a couple of weeks, I think I'll have kind of a jalapeno bread figured out, because it's pepper season. I love peppers. So I'm going to keep working on that. But I challenge everybody to find one recipe and try something new.
Okay.
And go get some huckleberries from Trendo over at Blue Rock. That stuff is tasty.
Yes. Yes. I will be doing that.
And with that, guys, I invite you to go live life in full color, because it's pretty boring living it plain.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.